On this episode, we're going to feature more of Summer Struggles 2021 by New Japan Pro Wrestling. We got GCW versus Zona 23. We have two hardcore promotions, one in the US and one in Mexico, facing off. We even got 205 Live and, of course, the finals for the Tag Team Turbulence by New Japan Strong. So, let's get ready to watch another episode of Deleted WrestleZone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted WrestleZone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host J-Rod here. So let's begin with New Japan Pro Wrestling, continuing on with Summer Struggles 2021. So we have the opening match, Tiger Mask, Satoshi Kojima, and Yuji Nagata taking on the Young Lions, Yuya Uemura, Yota Tsuji, and of course, Togi Makabe, who is a veteran. Now, the match was pretty interesting because, as you know, the Young Lions are good in a learning curve. But however, there were no match to the veterans such as Tiger Mask, Kojima, and of course, Yuji Nagata. And that's how the match ended. Because you would have guessed right now that one of the Young Lions got a pin, and that Young Lion was none other than Yuya Uemura. All thanks to Tiger Mask, who pulled it off. Next match, we got Master Wato teaming up with Ryusuke Taguchi and, of course, Hiroyoshi Tenzan, taking on the members of Chaos, Sho and Yoa Roppongi 3K, and, of course, the Rainmaker, Kazuchika Okada. Now, this match was pretty interesting. You have two junior heavyweights from both sides, and a heavyweight. But I did not expect that somehow Taguchi was able to pull off another victory when he pinned Yo for the match. Now, this seems like a bit of a shock, but it was a good match. You know how it is with Taguchi. He likes to have a little bit of fun. That's what he does. But he pulled off an amazing victory. Next match, we got Toru Yano teaming up with the Ace, taking on Bullet Club's Geto and Chase Owens. Now, keep in mind, Chase Owens has finally got what he wanted, which is the KOPW trophy that belonged to Toru Yano, and now he has it in his grasp, but he'll do whatever it takes not to put that title on the line or let Yano get near it. So basically, sooner or later, it's going to happen. But however, it was Tanahashi who put Geto in the Texas Cloverleaf, forcing him to tap out. Next match, we got Suzuki-gun, Doiki, Minoru Suzuki, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi taking on Chaos members, all champions in this one. We have Robbie Eagles, who is the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight champion. We got all three members of the Never Openweight Championships. We got Ishii, Yoshihashi, and Goto. This match was good. Now, I did have a thought in this particular match. I thought it looked more likely that Doiki would have pinned or submitted Robbie Eagles to get a shot of the IWGP Junior Heavyweight title. But however, Robbie Eagles was able to avoid that by applying his submission move, the same move that he put Desperado in, forcing him to tap out. And this time, it was Doiki who tapped out, so most likely, he is out of the game. So, basically, we don't know who will be the next contender, but we are expecting for Hiromu to do that, but it's still undetermined when would that happen. Now, the main event is an 8-man tag team elimination match. We have Bullet Club members El Fantasmo, Taiji Shimui, the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, along with Yujiro Takahashi and Evil, alongside with the spoiler, Dick Togo, taking on all members of LIJ, Bushi, Sanada, Tetsuya Naito, and Shingo Takagi. Now, there you can guess in this particular match that there were a lot of tricks that were being pulled off by, of course, um, uh, Bullet Club to ensure they win. But I think my favorite two moments, one is when Sanada, we all know we like to see him put the Paradise Lock. But when Phantasmo tried to apply it with him, he even had the audacity to ask Milano Collection how to do the Paradise Lock, and Desperado was right next to Milano, and I think he was laughing and like saying, "Pathetic." He had to ask you. It's because we all know Desperado and Connemara would love to get their hands on the junior heavyweight tag team titles back, but however, Phantasmo failed miserably, and he got himself in the Paradise Lock alongside with Taiji Shimori. But the ending was great. Now I did not expect it to be that good because Bushi was the one who picked up the victory when he eliminated Evil. But the reason he was eliminated was because he was distracted. The Shingo Takagi had Dick Togo and he was about to put him out of his misery. But Bushi took advantage of it and eliminated him over the top of the rope, allowing himself to win the match for LIJ. But of course, you can guess that Evil is not a happy camper. As you know, Evil is now the challenger for the IWGP World Heavyweight title. And I have to say, the match was great. The show was great. I enjoyed it. Uh, but there will be more of the summer struggles, and I'll be reviewing that on the following episode. But also, I want to remind everybody, as you guys know or don't know, last year they were unable to do the Junior Tag League. Basically, the Junior Tag League. Basically, it's another tournament where all the junior heavyweight contenders who are involved in tag teams for the junior division are going to be teaming up. So far, there have been 8 teams that have been announced. Of course, we got the champions themselves, the members of Suzuki Gun, Kanemaru, and Doiki, Sho and Yo. Robbie Eagles will be teaming with Tiger Mask, and I'm trying to remember who else is in it, but it's going to be a very interesting tournament. It's great that it's back, but we'll see how that turns out because they normally would have more, but this time they're not. So I'll keep you guys apprised of that, and there'll be more to come, and there'll be other things, and I'm going to post that on the news updates later on. Okay, so we got GCW versus Zona 23. Now, for all of you who don't know what Zona 23 is, it's a promotion out of Mexico where they do a lot of the hardcore matches or death matches or extreme matches. But their biggest, their venue is in a junkyard. Some of you are saying, really? A junkyard? Yes. If you guys don't believe me, look it up. Go on YouTube, put Zona 23, and you guys will see why it's called that way. Now, this is why GCW did a 3-day tour in Mexico in 3 different promotions that are involved in hardcore, extreme, or death matches. And Zona 23 was amongst them. And they did have a good roster that was going to be there. Let's review what really took place. The first match was a 3-way match. We have these are wrestlers I don't know. They're those who may or may not know. Here are the names. First match is Terremoto, which means kind of like earthquake, versus Demente Extreme versus El Prequirador. Now the match was pretty good. They used the same old tools as we normally see in hardcore death matches. You know, light tubes, barbed wires, and all that. But it was in fact Terremoto who won the match, and of course he is a big fan of the extreme wrestling style, and I think that's why he enjoys it. So the next match is another 3-way. We got Orisis taking on Oved Jr., who I'm familiarized with his dad, but his dad recently died last year due to COVID-19, and my condolences go out to his family. And I couldn't make out the name of the third individual, but however, I was more concerned for Obed Jr. because he still hasn't lived up yet into his father's shadows. His dad, if you guys don't know this, his dad was never in the beginning in his wrestling career. He was more what they call a traditional wrestler, you know. And when he got involved in like extreme wrestling or hardcore wrestling or deathmatch wrestling, that was like now became his forte. And I've seen documents of him. He's a real person who enjoys it. He enjoys these type of matches, and now we're seeing his eldest son, Ovid Jr., who is stepping up the game. And I did not expect him to win the match whatsoever, but I have to say, I hope he lives up to the legacy of his father. Um, I know he's been dealing tough with his passing, but I do believe he can live it up. But he has to be a different type of person to continue his legacy. Now, this next match, it did not take place at the Junkyard. This was an old footage or so with Miedo Extremo taking on Alex Colon. Man, this match was so insane. I did not. I think it was a pretty good match. A lot of toys were used, light tubes and all of that. It was like something you probably would not enjoy, especially those who are into the whole hardcore deathmatch scene. But he was able to pull off the victory when he pinned Miedo Extremo. Next match, we have a four-way. Lunatic Extreme versus Draco versus Crazy King versus Alex Colon. And this was a very interesting match. They went all over the junkyard, despite the fact there's fans everywhere. But I don't know who are these three guys other than Alex Colon. But it was a very interesting match to see because it was more fun. But however, somehow Alex Colon couldn't make it back to the ring when Draco won the match. So it was a very interesting thing. But it was good. Excuse me. Next up we have is a title matches for the BMLL Cruiserweight title. This is a BML South Black Mask Lucha Libre, which is another promotion for hardcore death matches. This is 440 member Alex Ryan taking on Arrow Boy. Now this match was also the kind of forte you see 440 get involved, but however, Ryan was unable to pick up the victory because Arrow Boy wasn't going to let any foreigner take the title away from him, and that's exactly what happened. So basically, it played out in his favor. Next match, once again, we got another video from their U.S. shows. We have Cicople, who's one of the most recognizable hardcore deathmatch wrestlers in all of Mexico, taking on the bad boy Joey Janela. This match was awesome. Joey Janela wrestling without shoes. I did not expect that. But the best moment was the finisher by Ciclope when he pulled the Flaming Wizard. Basically, it's like the Shining Wizard, but your knee is on fire. Yeah, on fire. But it was a really, really good match. And I say, but it did show respect for Ciclope and Joey Janela for this. Now, the main event. If you all recall, in one of the previous GCW events, we had G Raver and Jimmy Lloyd had the GCW Tag Team titles. Those titles were in the hands of Cicople and Miedo Extremo, but this time G Raver and Jimmy Lloyd were challenging for the titles. It was great. I was kind of like thinking, will they win it back? But it did, G Raver and Jimmy Lloyd were able to pull off another victory and regain the GCW Tag Team titles back to where it rightfully belongs. And I have to say, it was a really good match. And what do I think about the collaboration between both promotions? It's awesome. I know they've done other collaborations. I'm going to see if I can find footage from that, but so far to no avail. But we'll see what happens. Alright, 205 Live once again continues to display brand new, fresher talent that we need. Recently I did see a podcast interview with Ari Davari, how he felt strongly about the 205 Live, but now I can say that it will be okay and without them. Not to disrespect them, he did a great job being there, but right now these fresher talents are really killing it. First match we have, of course, Grayson Waller taking on Ikamanjaro. And now, you probably guess Ikamanjaro is going to win because the guy wrestles in his jacket. I mean, I'm a fan of Ikamanjaro. He's a unique wrestler, and I always say I like unique wrestlers, and that's always been my forte because I enjoy that. And I don't think Grayson Waller was not prepared for a guy like him, but because of that, he lost the match, and Hikamanjaro won the whole thing. So I have to say, Hikamanjaro, keep going. I love to see more of him. Hopefully, we get to see him more in NXT. Next up, the main event is Asher Hale taking on the return of one of the most recognizable wrestlers and former general manager of 205 Live, Drake Maverick. I have to say, it's great to see him. I love the guy. I even met Drake Maverick. This was during the time when he was chasing for the 24/7 title when they were here in San Diego, California for Comic Con. And of course, the truth was hiding from him. So it was a good match, and Asher Hill uh, was trying to do whatever it takes to win, but Drake Maverick was able to beat him even when he broke his arm. Like, he was holding on to it, and he was able to win with one arm actually hurt, but it paid off. And I like it. It was a pretty good match. I'll give these two matches a pass because even though there's two of them, I mean, that's how I feel about it. Even though I keep this short for all of you, I mean, what else can I say about them? So keep it up, guys. I love 205 Live. All right, the last thing I'm going to review before I go to news updates, we got New Japan Strong for the tag leagues. The main event ended up being the Tag Team Turbulence final match. Let's go with the opening matches. We got Kevin Knight taking on Bateman. Now, this match was another brutal match with Bateman being this demented lunatic and somehow was able to pick up the victory against Kevin Knight. And I have to say, this is going to be this is something that I think we all need to pay attention with Bateman, not only in New Japan, but also in Ring of Honor. Next match, we have a six-man tag team match. We got Mysterioso teaming up with the West Coast Wrecking Crew, Royce Isaacs and Jarrell Nelson, taking on Adrian Quest, Fred Rosser, and of course the Alpha Wolf, Carl Fredericks. I have to say, it was a pretty interesting match to watch because the West Coast Wrecking Crew was really one of the most amazing teams to watch, and Mysterioso is one talented wrestler. But however, it was Fred Rosser that won the match, and you probably wouldn't expect it that much. So basically, Fred Rosser won, and I give it some thumbs up. Now the main event, which is the Tag Team Turbulence final, the Good Brothers taking on Violence Unlimited, Brody King and Chris Dickinson. I have to say, it was a good match. It was a really amazing. I don't know if they're reestablishing these guys back into New Japan. We don't know if they will go back to fly New Japan, but we'll see where that goes. So, but the thing is, when they won the match, when they applied the Magic Killer onto Dickinson, Brody King was still out. He was unable to stop the pin. They set out a very interesting promo, and now they're gunning for the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team titles. Those titles are currently in the hands of Dangerous Tekkers, Zack Sabre Jr., and Taichi. So we'll see what happens down the line. But right now, let's move on with, of course, something I haven't done for a while, some news updates. Okay, as we all know, at the end of August, we have NWA Empower, which is the first ever all-female wrestling pay-per-view produced by Mickie James. Recently, we did see Lady Frost, who is in fact appeared in NWA and Impact Wrestling, of course AEW, and many others. She posted out a tweet that she would love to show up to this event, and of course, Mickie James retweeted, and of course she would love to have her there, so she picked her to be part of it. So it's still unclear who else is going to be. We do know Deonna Purrazzo is involved, but I doubt Lady Frost will play any part and try to get involved in her matches. But we'll see what happens. Now, original plans came out about what they were going to do with Hangman to win the AEW World Title at All Out. So apparently that plan was put on the back burner or whatever scenario, because we all know what's been going on. We know that CM Punk may be the guy who's going to challenge for this title, but we still don't know yet. But to be honest with you, I would have loved to see Hangman win it because it would make more sense. But whatever AEW decides, we'll see what happens. I don't know if they believe would someone else be better. We don't know. But I'm kind of curious to see where they're going to go with that. Now, speaking of New Japan Pro Wrestling, we know that one of the names that was announced for Resurgence was none other as Shota Umino, or as John Moxley likes to call him, Shooter. Shooter, in the other hand, if you guys are probably wondering, he was a young lion in the New Japan dojo. He left New Japan for an excursion with Rev Pro, and we haven't heard anything from him since. But however, there was talk that he was going to go to Resurgence and team up with his mentor and Death Rider friend, John Moxley. Now it appears that due to the COVID-19 restrictions down in the UK, he may be unable to make it. So it's still unclear what they're going to do with Moxley. He is challenging the Good Brothers. He did say a buddy was coming over. I mean, I would assume it's Shota Umino, but it looks like it's not, but we'll see where they're going to go with that. And finally, this is something that just came on my attention on Twitter. As you know, a lot of things has been taking place with the Bullet Club, especially the royalties. Now, this is what I found, a while ago with Tama Tonga going back and forth with Carl Anderson. Basically, what happened is there was a picture with the Elite dressed up as the squad, from the Goon Squad or Toon Squad or whatever. And this is what he said: unarguably the greatest of all time. Hashtag Super Elite. And this is what Tama replied: I would argue with you, but you were past that. Your good brother philosophy is shallow deep. The day is coming. He goes, Machine Gun Carl Anderson goes, don't do this, Tama. I've been holding off and killing the Bullet Club for good. Please don't make me kill what I created. I'm begging you. And this is what Tama said: the last time someone tried to kill Bullet Club, it didn't go so well. And everybody knows, hashtag of, Finn Balor created the Bullet Club. Hashtag real OG. Hashtag shooters. Now, it's true. It was Finn Balor, or as back then he was known as Prince the Vet. So basically, we're seeing a fight between who has royalty rights for the name Bullet Club. And this could be leading into a war between both the Elite and the Bullet Club. And you probably say, what about the Civil War they had? And that didn't do so well. But maybe this will help one way or the other. I can't wait to see what they're going to go with it. But we got to pay attention. But as for now, I think that's pretty much it, what I got for news updates. And there'll be other things I'll post out in the near future. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Coming up, we have Got to Move Pro Wrestling, where we have the Super Asian Championship online with Minoru Fujita taking on Hagine Shino, and there'll be other matches. We got more of New Japan Pro Wrestling Summer Struggle, and of course, I cannot forget about Impact Wrestling Homecoming. That's going to be a killer event. There'll be more to come with other reviews, and I might put out on Sunday. I haven't determined yet what, but stand by, and I will not disappoint none of you. And more talk on everything else is going to happen. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. Mwah, and have a nice day. Bang!